Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danni Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hello. It is heading towards the end of the week. How have you all been? I know we've had lots of shows again this week. It's been great fun with all the different people that we've been talking to, and we've got one more tonight and one tomorrow night. So we've got a few more coming this week, and then another big week next week as well. We've got Jamie, Lindsay in the room waiting to talk to us, so we might welcome him into the room.
Hello, Danni. Hello.
It hasn't been that long since we talked, and it's so exciting because you've got new music again for us.
I do. And look, we've been talking off to the side behind all this as well. So yes, I definitely have new music, and I'm very excited about it as well, especially after the last single, which I really love, Carry On, and I'm really proud of that song. But obviously it's a pretty heavy subject, mental health, suicide, and you know, it's a very important song. It's a very positive message. But let me tell you, you know, the month of interviews that I had for that was pretty heavy on my heart, and you know, rehashing those emotions and that. So it's really nice to have a song that's lighthearted and fun, and it just puts a smile on my face, and so yeah, Bumper to Bumper is the new song, and
it was so good when I was listening to it for the first time. I thought, this is just it's driving material, it's cruisy, it's easy, it's such a good, easy listening song. And you've also done a lyric video for it as well.
I have, yeah. Look, I was going to shoot a film clip and I had everything lined up. I had a Chevy 55 hired. I had a red Corvette hired. I had Chrissy all lined up. I had a makeup artist for both of us. We had, I had Duncan Toombs ready to film it, direct it. It was all going to go ahead, and it was booked on Tuesday, the 16th of February. And then leading up to that day, I could see that the forecast was not looking good. And so on the Sunday before it, we made a call to cancel it, which was actually, that Tuesday was the start of the 2 months of bad weather that we had up here, which had all the floods and everything. So, you know, we made a great call to cancel it. And look, we had a couple of other ideas to take it in to the studio and, you know, try and make something out of it. But I just had this really great idea about highway and cruising and the two cars. And so when I couldn't achieve what I wanted, I just pulled the pin, and I think it was a good call. So yes, the lyric video was designed by my friend Brent Young, who also designed the cover as well. He's a very talented young man. And I've used him before on a few other things that I've released. And so I just reached out to Brent. I said, look, I couldn't do a film clip when we were designing the cover. He said, mate, let me do you a lyric video. And I said, cool. And so, yeah, he literally sent me that last week, and I was like, oh man, that's awesome. And it looks great. Yeah. And so the cover itself is an interesting story. So, you know, I wanted a Chevy 55 for the cover of the single. And so I'm scouring the internet, right? I find the car of my dreams, and I'm like, oh, that's the car. That's exactly the car that I want to use. And it took me to the website of Ideal Classic Cars, which is in Florida. And I thought, okay, I'll email them and see if I can have permission to use the photo for my artwork, you know, which is the right thing to do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I emailed them, and they emailed me back saying, yes, you know, would love you to have it. I said, hey, I'm an Australian country artist, blah, 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 blah. I want to use this photo of this Chevy 55 as the cover. And they said, yeah, cool, one condition. And I went, okay. And they said that you must send us a poster of the cover so we can hang it on our wall in our showroom. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then it got me thinking, I'm like, okay, initially I wasn't going to put too much of into the cover. And then it got me thinking, I'm like, okay, this is going to be hung up on a showroom.
That's huge. Yeah.
So it's
a
got
lot
to look,
of people. Yeah.
It's got to look awesome. And then, so then I thought, okay, it's got to be worthy of hanging up in a really classic car showroom. And so then I called my friend Brent and I said, right, this is the challenge, right? It's got to look cool, right? And so then I had this idea of like a movie cover, like a VHS or like a DVD. Remember when you used to go to DVD stores or video
Blockbuster and
yeah. And you would almost pick the movie from the cover.
Yeah, you would. Yes.
Like the cover would catch your eye and you'd be like, oh wow, I'll give that a go. So I wanted the single cover and the poster to be like that, to be really engaging. And so Brent, we got the photo and he went to town and it looks amazing, which you can kind of see in the background there. It looks like a movie title.
It does. It looks like you're right. It does look like one of those posters that you used to see hanging in the new release section.
Absolutely. So it didn't start off that way. I was like, I'm just going to have a look for a Chevy 55 and then I'll mock something up in Canva and sure, that'll be the single. And then once the pressure was on to come up with something that is worthy of hanging up on a wall, I was like, right, okay, I better do this seriously and put a bit of time and effort into this. And so Brent Young, thank you so much for making a wonderful cover. I'm really proud of it. I just held a competition because I got a couple of posters made up and I had a winner for that last week. So that was sent out. And the lady who won it's already framed it and put it up on her wall in her lounge room.
Wow.
I know. And she sent me a photo of it and I was just so chuffed. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So she's a big fan. She's a really big fan. Awesome. So but the song's great. I'm really, really happy about the feedback and the response so far. I had a couple of interviews today. I had one in up in Hervey Bay in Queensland and one on Kangaroo Island in South Australia. Yeah. And they both said just how happy and friendly that the song makes them feel. So that's great.
It does.
Really
it does. And actually, when I was watching the lyric video too, because when you hear a song like that, you just want to sing along and you want to do it from day one. You've just heard the song, but you don't know the words. I love the lyric video because you can just do it. And it is a really easy, fun listening song that you do want to just sing along to and go for a ride.
Yeah, it's definitely got that driving song, and I'm really proud of it. And it went down really easy. And the whole thing with Chrissy, right? This is the thing. So when I was doing Carry On, I messaged Duncan, who's, one of the pillars of this country music industry. Yeah. And I said to Dunk, look, who does everyone use for harmonies? And he said,
and
he said Chrissy Thomas. And I went, cool. All right. So I hit Chrissy up on Facebook and said, hey, I'm a friend of Dunk's and you work with Dunk and you work with everyone and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, cool. She's lovely. She's so lovely, lovely. And so she came around to do the harmonies for Carry On. And she's such a professional. Within an hour, she smashed out the harmonies and she said, what else you got? And I was like, totally unprepared. And I was like, I'm working on this other one at the moment. It's called Bumper to Bumper. You want to sing that as well? She said, yeah. So
let's do it. Yeah.
I know. Let's do it. Right. And that's Chris. She's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, cool. So I brought up Bumper to Bumper because I think I booked her for 3 hours for the session, thinking that, that should be enough time, to do all the harmonies. You know, I'd never worked with her before. And I figured that would be enough time to get. Yeah. Well, she smashed it out in an hour. She's just on fire. She's just amazing, seriously. And so she put me on the spot, and so I was like, oh, okay. I just started working on Bumper to Bumper, and so I pulled it up, showed her the song, showed her the lyrics. She learned it within about 45 minutes, and then she smashed out the harmonies. And it's really funny because I'd had the whole idea of producing the song up, drums and bass. And I guess I really got used to just the simplicity of it all, with one guitar, my voice and her voice. And I did put drums on it. I got my drummer to lay down a groove, and I played bass on it, and I think I had some keys as well. But I did that about a few months after I'd tracked the song with Chrissy. So for about a few months, I only listened to it with what I had, which was the really simplistic. Excuse me. And so when I finally put drums and bass guitar on it, I sat back and I listened to it, and I was like, something's wrong.
It's not what you changed your vision of it.
It really changed my vision of it. And so I muted the keys, and I went, still doesn't sound right. Muted the bass, something's not gelling. I muted the drums and went, oh, that's better. So it's really funny how sometimes that can turn out. When I was producing it, I had this vision of what you always do, and I always just throw everything at it, right? My way of producing is almost overproduce things. And then when I start to edit, mix it, pull back, And so
you do that. You unlayer it, and you just go back one layer at a time. You're peeling the onion and just seeing when it feels right.
Seeing what works. So I always overdo things. I put everything on pedal steel. I do everything, and then I just really figure out what is gelling and works. The guitar riff got a really kind of percussive, kind of almost reggae kind of feel to it. And when I was doing that, like the drums and the guitar were just really clashing. I had a really basic drum thing to try and help the guitar do its thing, but it was just really clashing. And so I would almost have to rewrite the guitar part to make it work. And it would not be the same song. It's kind of got the it's kind of got that thing about it.
It does. If you did that, a really very different sound, actually.
It'd be so different. So, and I just made a choice of not just trying to stay true to how I wrote the song and how I feel about the song. It's really important. It's funny. You kind of have to, you write a song and then you produce a song. So that's a different hat again. And then when you start editing a song and making decisions about a song, you really have to put your ego aside and make a decision about what's best for the song. I also play it to a few people as well, because sometimes I feel that maybe my decisions are not always right.
And that's the other thing too. You've got so much emotion attached to that song because you've been there from the very beginning. Sometimes it's good to have that second ear that hasn't quite got that connection to it and see what they're picking up from what you've done.
Exactly right. And it's the same with mixing. You can get really too close to the song, as you said. The whole journey, you're there. And I kind of felt a little bit that with the last record, because I mixed that last record with a friend of mine, but essentially I kind of had full control over it. And I'm still really proud of that. I'm proud of everything I do, because I look at everything that we do as kind of stepping stones to the next thing. This album, I wanted to take a break from mixing my own stuff, and I wanted to outsource that, and I wanted to write, produce, but then at the very last stage, I want to hand it on to a mixing engineer that's never heard the song,
yeah,
and is coming in with complete fresh ears, and can really approach it differently to maybe the way that I would after spending such a long time with the song. And I've always been a fan.
Sorry. No, you're right. Sorry. No, I was going to say, I think sometimes you over listen, and you do need to step away for a little bit. Yeah.
You really do. And with this album, I wanted it to be the next level.
Yes.
Whatever that means. So I trusted that the mixing engineer that I've chosen, Billy Decker, who's from Nashville, and he's mixed a lot of my favorite albums over the years, and he's had 25 Billboard #1s or whatever. And so I thought, I wouldn't mind getting Billy Decker to mix this album. And I kind of like reached out, and he was all for it and stuff. So Carry On was mixed by him, and I think that just sounds incredible. I really love what he did with that. And same with this one, like he mixed this one, and he'll be mixing everything from this album.
I think that's important too, having that same person to keep that same work. When it's one body of art, you're set putting out this thing, it would sound mismatched if it was done differently, I think.
I feel the same way, and that's why I've kind of gone down this road. But the thing about me is I'm always striving to be better than the last thing I did. So I've already got a plan in my head for the next album. I haven't even released this album, which is just insane how my head works sometimes. But I'm happy with it. I've got some great songs on this album, and that I feel, and I feel it's a real step up from my last album. But that's just me being really hard on myself, and wanting to be a better songwriter and a better producer, and producing a better product. But
that's the way we all need to be. We all have to in life have those goals and those pushes, because that's our drive to do better and to release more music. And an artist, you should be able to listen to their music. It's like the diary of their career and how they've grown, how they've expanded, and also even the times in their life that they're going through. It's sort of you should be able to read and get to know your artist from album one right through to whatever's out at the time.
Well said. And I feel exactly the same way. I want my journey. I guess because I'm producing it myself, and I'm learning to be a better producer and songwriter as we go along. It's a little bit different than say an artist that just goes to the very best straight up, and there's no real kind of change in sonics or whatever. But with me, what you're hearing like me evolve as a songwriter, as a producer, and as an artist, trying to find where I fit. It's actually funny because I have a friend of mine who's a screenwriter, songwriter, older gentleman, approached me yesterday about an idea about doing something for the war in Ukraine. And it was an idea that he has about producing a song and having me involved with it.
Wow.
And I'm not an activist in any way. I write songs from the heart, and I've got to be really careful especially now that I feel that I'm a lot more established than I was a few years ago. I've got to be really careful
politically
because war is a terrible thing, but I'm no way an activist, and I don't want to confuse anyone by I just want to kind of stay in my lane. thing. And my lane is country music, and my lane is talking about the songs that I write, and yeah, it's a little tricky. So I had to turn that idea down. I had to turn that offer
Yeah, it's
down.
such a lovely thing that they approached you too, though. It shows that they obviously see and like what you're doing, and yeah, it was a nice thing.
Yeah, and they wanted me to help write this song, and they also wanted me to sing the song and release the song.
Oh, wow.
And I just like, it's not.
It's a bit much. Yeah.
It's a bit much, and you know what I mean. It's
lovely. It was lovely that they heard you and thought it was great for you to be able to give you that opportunity. It was very nice that they thought of you.
Yeah, I just don't want to be involved in anything that would potentially because it's a strong point when you stand up and go, I believe in this. Some of your fans who maybe don't believe in that, all of a sudden,
you don't need to be political. It's not. Yeah,
I'm not a politician in any way, shape, or form. I want to talk about working, and I want to talk about love, and I want to talk about Chevy 55s and red Corvettes, and I want to talk about mental health awareness, and I want to talk about
things
things I know.
No.
Well said, Danni. You are awesome. Things that I know and that I'm actually in touch with, and I'm not in touch with the war in Ukraine. I've got to be honest. Besides from the headlines that I read in the news, I don't know anything about the war in Ukraine.
Yep, and that's.
I really don't.
There's so many. I think we do get. But by releasing something political like that, you're right. You do have fans that believe in one thing, or they misinterpret what you're trying to say. It's best sometimes to just let the people that do that stay at it. Yeah.
Yes. That can be a song for U2 or something like that.
Somebody that has the
something that, or like Midnight Oil or something like that are actually like, we're going to make a difference and make a change. And not to say that I sit on the fence about stuff, because I don't, but I don't know anything about what's happening in the war, and maybe that's ignorance on my behalf, but it is what it is. So sorry for getting on to the subject of the war and stuff, but it's interesting because as an artist you do have to kind of think about branding and how like your message and your legacy, and what you want to be remembered by, and so when things like that come up, and it's actually the same with guitars and endorsing things as well. I'm just not into that crap either. Like I see artists that are endorsing guitars for the sake of getting free guitars, but like I know they're not very. I just play guitars that I don't care. I mean, I play. What's this? This is just my little studio shitty nylon Ibanez, but I'm not going to say I want an Ibanez endorsement because I really don't. I really don't want.
I just play what instrument you want to play. You want to go into a shop, pick up which one feels comfortable, and not worry what labels on it. I can understand.
Right. And that's why I kind of have a lot of respect for Keith Urban, because he will just play whatever he feels at the time. He's not endorsed by Maiden. He's not endorsed by Fender. He doesn't have a signature model, anything like that. He just plays whatever he wants to play.
He plays what he loves and what feels right. I have a question for you that I was listening to. Obviously, you're like me. You think ahead very, very much, and you might be releasing this body of music now, but you're planning your next album and your growth in that thing. So currently, you're releasing music and still recording music for this set of body of work, and yet you're pushing yourself behind the scenes to go further and further with the next album. Do you find it hard to not mix those two as you're sort of planning two things in the one go? Because I do that.
Totally. And my manager's always like, my manager's always like, you've got to remember that you're like myself. He's like, you've got to remember that right now you're riding the wave, right?
Yeah.
And you're so current with what you're doing, but you've got to remember that your audience and your fans
on the other one.
are on the other wave behind you, and they're playing catch up. So, it's taken me a long time because I'll just go, right, I'm doing this now because that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
But I've got to remember that these things just take time.
Yeah, because you've already lived the part that everybody's just getting out now, and now you're,
Exactly right. And like my manager's biggest saying to me, Marcelo, is patience.
It's not an easy thing no, it runs in the family. I'm very sure of that.
It's not easy at all, but he's like, just be patient. It's not if, it's when. And I love that. I love that about him as well, that he will say, it's not if it's going to happen, Jamie, it's when. So just be patient and let's just keep, just staying in our lane. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just keep building this thing and believing in yourself, But it's very hard because, for example, I had all the songs chosen for this record.
Yes.
There's 11 songs on this record, like last one. There's 11 songs. And then I wrote a new song. And I'm like, this has got to be on the next album. So my manager's like, okay, that's cool. But is this song better than any of those other songs? And I think yes. He's like, okay, well, you have to start culling the other songs. And
how do you do that? That's part of you.
It is a part of me, but I've got to go, all right, is this a better song? I feel it is, but maybe that's because it's current and it's now.
Yes.
Look, I'm a songwriter. I'm
that's
always going to write songs. I still feel that my best songs are still in me. I'm 45 in 3 months' time, and I feel I'm just scratching the surface, Danni.
Isn't that what Dolly Parton always says? She's the same. I've got this. You haven't heard anything yet. I'm still going. You've still got my best to come. And
And I also think that
too.
I think that has a lot to do with your mindset, and I feel just pushing yourself and wanting to be a better songwriter and wanting to be a better producer, and like I really want to work with Rod McCormick. That is one of my bucket list things.
Yeah,
and that's probably on the cards for the third album.
Wow.
And I can say that now that's definitely something that
would, definitely be on my bucket list if I was a songwriter and record.
I want to work with Rod, and I know Rod very well, and that's something that's on the cards for me, is to work with Rod. I hold Rod McCormick very, very high as a songwriter, player, as a producer. I think he's like one of the best, but also as he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's very humble. He's very genuine, and he's lovely. He's absolutely lovely.
And a talent that you could never imagine, isn't he? You just can't.
And I feel that I'll be like, when I finally get around to work with him, I feel like I'll be just constantly looking over his shoulder and going, what are you doing there? Like, is where probably other songwriters would be sitting on the couch texting, playing some silly iPhone game, is where I'll be like, so your mic's up, so okay, and you're using okay, because I will just be a sponge in his studio and I'll be his shadow. And I think that's probably wasted on a lot of artists that work with him, is they don't realize that what he's doing is he's an absolute beast of a producer, and songwriter. So yeah, I think I would get so much out of working with Rod and then maybe even Matt Fell.
Yes. Matt
I've
lives
got a
in
little-
Tassie now.
I know. How good's that? How good's that? Yeah. Very
So
cool.
we're on the map. We have got so much talent down here.
You really do. You really do.
For it.
And it's great. It's great. And Tassie's such a wonderful place. And I'm looking forward to coming down in September.
Yes, and I can't wait. Have you announced anything yet, or is that a to be continued? Yeah,
To be continued. You know about it, but no one else.
Save some time in September.
Save some time in September, early September.
Yeah, there's lots of people popping in. You probably know Rel. I miss working with you guys. I know that they're having a bit of a rough go with COVID at work at the moment. But Rel lives in Bracknell. She's from Bracknell.
Hi, Rel.
So September, keep that in mind. Ray, I was telling you earlier, she's going to pop in shortly.
Now, I don't know Ray, but I feel that Ray was in the audience at my Songwriters in the Round at the Services Club. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know her personally. I follow her on Instagram and she might follow me as well. But I'm pretty sure I saw her in the audience at one of my shows with Benny Allen and Ian Burns. I'm pretty sure. Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize if it wasn't you.
So we will see.
Hi, Jonathan.
Jonathan is in the UK. I don't know what time it is over there, Jonathan, but you're amazing because you stay awake every show, and all the artists in Australia, you support us so well. And Ray said that she was there to see. I was there to see Benny. So there you go. She did.
Oh, cool. She was. I thought it was you. May have met Jamie because his mum lived in Tassie. Yes, my mum does. My family is from Tassie. I'm from Tassie.
From Whitemore.
Yeah, from Whitemore.
Yeah.
I went to Hagley Farm School, and then I went to Prospect High School, and so did my sisters. I have two older sisters. They all live down there. My sister lives in Lilydale. She owns the takeaway shop there. And my other sister, Rachel, she lives in Exeter, and she has a couple of landscaping yards that she has there. And my dad lives in Hadspen, where I grew up. He lives at the Rutherglen village there. Yes. And my mum lives in Fingal, and she's from Mathina originally. Mick and Marion, that's right. That's my stepdad, Marion, and my mum. Yeah. How do you know them? Who are you?
We're so Tasmanian, aren't we? There's no one that we don't run into. Now, you have been so patient sitting there with the guitar. Would you like to do a song for us?
Completely forgot about it. To be honest, I was using it as a rest. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you the room while you play. What are you going to do? Oh, here we go.
Married to my uncle. What? Who? This is another conversation for another time, I believe. I'm going to do bumper to bumper. But let me tell you, my voice is a little hoarse. My son, who's 22, Jack, came up from Victoria on Monday, and I haven't seen him in the flesh for 12 months because of COVID. And so it was 12 months that I've actually seen him. Obviously, I FaceTime him every other day and stuff. So he came up. Last night, we hit the whiskies. And
you've got...
I'm a little dusty today, I will tell you. So
her uncle is Mick.
My uncle is Mick. What? That is crazy. So that means that we are related.
Yeah.
We are related by marriage. That is insane. Tassie, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm going to give you the room and let you do your new song, and I will let everyone enjoy.
Thanks, Danni. I'll be your Chevy 55, you'll be my little red Corvette. We'll go cruising down the highway on Route 66, and we'll find ourselves a hilltop way Wait till the sun drops, when the time is just right. Underneath the moonlight, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. Yeah, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. It's a denim skirt, your chocolate shake, your white t-shirt, your roller skates, my blue jeans, my boombox, my mixtape, my high tops, us holding hands as we walk along, slow dancing to our favorite song, our Sunday drives, our kiss goodnight. You and me, we're just like the classics, baby. We never go out of style, we're like the classics, baby. We never go out of style, 'cause I'm your Chevy 55. You're my little red Corvette. We'll go cruising down a highway on Route 66, and we'll find ourselves a hilltop. Wait till the sun drops, when the timing's just right. Underneath the moonlight, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. Yeah, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. I'm your Johnny, you're my June, you're my Bonnie, I'm your Clyde, I'm your Sonny, you're my Cher. Yeah, we got that fever burning on, two lovers on the run. I got you and you got me, baby. To cherry lips, your ponytail, your bleach blonde tips, your blood red nails, my sideburns, my wavy hair, my denim shirt, my wayfarers driving down the windy road, singing to the radio. The Eagles get the mood just right. You and me, we're just like the classics, baby. We never go out of style, we're like the classics, baby. We never go out of style, 'cause I'm your Chevy 55. You're my little red Corvette. We'll go cruising down the highway on Route 66, and we'll find ourselves a hilltop. Wait till the sun drops, when the timing's just right. We'll make love tonight, 'cause I'm your Chevy 55. You're my little red Corvette. We'll go cruising down the highway on Route 66, and we'll find ourselves a hilltop. Wait till the sun drops, when the timing's just right. Underneath the moonlight, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. Yeah, we'll get bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper.
Yay! I love that song. I really do. And it's you were saying how last one, it was such a great song, but you're right, it was a heavy song, and this one is just a cruisy, fun, happy song.
It really is. And it's an ode to my beautiful wife. You know, we've been married for 7 years. We've been together for 10 years. I love her so much. She is everything to me. And we are, we're still very much, romantic, and we still hold hands walking down the street. And I make sure I kiss her and tell her that I love her every single night and every single morning, as much as I can. She's everything to me. And so the song's about just the classic things. We grew up, she's a lot younger than me, but I grew up in the 80s and she grew up in the 90s. But she's very much a classic at heart. She loves all the old things, and she's got great morals and just, so it's a real ode to her in many ways. And we love classic cars too. We don't own one, but I would like to. I'd like to. But it's just that symbolic thing about being too classic souls, old souls, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just very, very lucky. I'm very, very
Happy
blessed. You know,
days.
I have a beautiful wife, and I have 3 beautiful children, and I have great people around me like yourself, just really
Yeah.
positive people that just, we've spoken about this before, but you know, country people
Yeah.
is very much my kind of people. It's funny, I spent so long doing the rock thing, you know. I spent over 10 years trying to get a rock band over the line in Sydney, and the scene is so different, you know.
Yes.
And
It's
I think, yeah, it's so different. At one point, it was obviously what I wanted,
yes.
but I grew up very country. I grew up very old school, and I just got to a point where I was like, this is not me. This is not me. I can sing the music, I can write the music, but this is just not me. And
Not
so,
mine.
you know, I went back to country because it just felt
It fits.
right. It felt like
Yeah.
home, you know.
Yeah.
And it is. It is
Yeah.
right. Look what's happening.
Yes.
Look what's happening
Yeah.
with, you know, ever since I stopped walking down that road and
Yeah.
started walking down this road, which was the
Oh,
road that I was on in the late 90s when I
mhm.
was a star maker and country music college,
Yes.
97, 98. That was the road I was already on. And then for whatever reason, I just went, no, I'm going to get off
Go
this
this
road
way.
and go down this road. That was the worst road I could have taken. Why didn't someone
But
go, Jamie,
what are you doing?
what are you doing? You're walking
But it
down the
also
wrong
made you
road.
realize how much you love the road from before. So it was a good meeting. Mm.
Yeah, look, no regrets, right? Because the whole journey on that other road has led me to being the man that I am now, and the
Exactly.
lessons I've learned, and the heartaches and heartbreaks and
Yep.
all that has made me into the man that I am today. And
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
it's obviously for a reason, right? The universe
Yep.
has
Yep.
obviously something in mind for us. So
Exactly.
but it's great to be back, and it's great to be able to talk to people like yourself, and you know,
Is
you're such a good soul as well. I could just tell, you know.
yeah. We have to
It's
be. We're from Tassie.
exactly right. We have
Rules.
to be.
It's
It's
the
in our
rules.
blood. It's in our
Yeah.
blood. Yeah, it's pretty special, man. It's great.
We are
Sorry,
very lucky.
I'm
No, I love it. I'm the same. We're very lucky in this industry. It just every time you do a show, every time you go out on the road or you get to meet people, and it's just such a welcoming industry and a happy place. And
Can I tell you a story?
yes.
So I went up to Tamworth, and I went to the awards, and I went to the after party, and
Yes.
I still feel, I don't know, I you know, I'm still don't feel like, I don't know, I feel like a bit of a third wheel still, you know. I haven't gotten to that level yet where I can walk into a room and everyone just like, Jamie, you know. Had a few people that I could do that with, you know, but I still felt a little bit awkward.
At
And
the
like,
after party at the awards, you do. It is a very, it's it's such a formal thing and such a big.
it is. And I had a show at the Services Club with 2 other artists, Ian Burns and Benny Allen, and my publicist who's just absolutely amazing, Rebecca. We love you. You're such a good soul, and you are one of the hardest working people in the business. And love you, mate. You're awesome. So she introduced me to Ian Burns and
Yes,
Benny Allen,
isn't he
and
wonderful?
I never met them before. Instantly, it was like we've been best friends for years.
That was the same with me. They are beautiful.
Aren't they beautiful? So, like, they are just beautiful men and beautiful people. And I just felt I actually spent most of the after party with them. And
that's what I did last time I was at the after party. I was with all them. They're just amazing people.
So nice. And actually, on the Thursday before the gig, I kept running into Ian and his wife Susie.
Susie,
and they are just absolutely beautiful
Gorgeous.
people. And when we did the gig together, it was
I
awesome, man.
I really wish I was there. It would have been amazing, but I will be in January somehow. We will
You should,
definitely.
yeah. Look, Tamworth was such a buzz, such a vibe. I actually
Yeah.
had weird withdrawals after I came back.
Yeah, you do. The Tamworth Blues is a real thing.
The
It's
Tamworth
like a
Blues.
real
Yeah,
thing.
I came back and I was like, damn, that was.
Yep.
Did that actually happen? You
Yeah,
know?
and then it's over, and it's
Yeah.
the most exhausting time of your life
Oh,
because you would go from stage to stage to show, and then on top of that, it's normally damn hot, and
yeah.
you are exhausted and you don't sleep, and you
No.
get to the awards night, and the awards is you struggle to stay awake even at the end of the awards night because it's usually right at the end, and then the after party, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just so great. But then the next day you're so exhausted, but you just get this rush of it's gone. Everyone's gone home. We're all separate now, and now we have to go back to a real life. It was just a different
I
planet.
know it's such a wonderful experience, Tamworth. You know, for those out there that haven't experienced, I cannot recommend it enough. You know,
No,
um, it's electric, and yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I really miss it. It was only like 2 weeks ago or something, and I'm just like, damn, can we do that again next week? You know, it's great.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. I've had a sleep
but-
now. I'm ready to go again.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's do it. Yeah. Now, where can we find your new single?
Okay, so for those that love the hard copy, unfortunately, it's not on a hard
Not
copy
yet.
until I release the album later in the year. So for the time being, it's only digital, which will be available on all your favorite platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. So you will be able to find that on there. You can also follow me on my socials, being Jamie Lindsay Music, or my website, which is jamielindsaymusic.com.
Yes.
All my gigs are on my website as well. So if you want to know where I'm playing, definitely go to my website. I will be coming down to Tassie in September, which is amazing. And we will be doing something.
Yes, we will be,
Definitely. And yeah, look, lots of things happening throughout the year, more songs, just keep on doing what we do, you know. So very exciting and very very happy to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming again. We love having you. And do you think there'll be another single before September? Do you think we'll see you on here before then?
There's another single that will be out on the 8th of July.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll have you again, hopefully, then, if you're brave enough to
hear this next one. This next one's huge.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Huge.
They're all huge. And I love that. I just love seeing you working on this one now to release it. But your brain is going past now and you've already got the next project in mind. I just love that. It's so good. It's passion.
I'm having a meeting tonight with Duncan. After we finish here, I'm going to smash some food and then I'm going to get back in my car and I'm heading over to Duncan's studio for us to brainstorm the film clip that we're shooting in 2 weeks.
You should do it down here.
I would love to. You know, I'll just head out the back to my money tree and I'll just snip off some stuff.
I planted it, but it's still not growing yet.
You know, at some stage, I've got a song that is called South Esk River, which I wrote when I was like,
I live on the South Esk
River. Which I wrote when I was like 17 or 18, and it's one of my family. It's their favorite song. My sister loves it. My sister's a bit of a singer as well, Rachel. She does. She did some stuff with Gina Timms and some stuff in Deloraine and some stuff. She's not really kind of out there being an artist. She just does it for fun, but she's got a really good voice as well. And she wanted to cover that. So I kind of had this idea that maybe at some stage when I get a little bit grayer, that I would come down to Tassie and write an album and like feature her and feature other Tassie artists and make it a real Tasmanian album and call it South Esk River and write songs about Tassie and my childhood and all the things that I experienced. So that's definitely something on the cards that I would like to do.
Yes. Well, after the show, hang in. There's something we'll probably talk about. I live on the South Esk River, so you know, so cool. And thank you so much for joining us on the show, though. We do love having you, and it's lots of fun. And I'm so excited to hear this latest single, It's Happy. If you haven't already listened to the recorded version, head over when we finish now and have a listen, because it is fantastic. You will love it, I promise. And we'll have you again, hopefully in the next month.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be
Look forward to it. Love you, Danni. Awesome.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all tomorrow night at 5:30. And you should be able to already click the reminder on the ad. So go and have a look at that when we're finished. See you guys later.
Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed today's program. See you next time with the latest with Country Kickback.